Well, most of you have been asking yourself, why has Arsenal delayed to obviously announce the deal of Declan Rice? Because we thought that this week, by Tuesday latest, this deal would have gone ahead to get announced. Now today, Seth Demesh of Sky Sports has gone ahead and revealed to us as why this deal has not gone ahead to come to materialization as far as it's concerned, because Declan Rice is one of those players that has been so much into waiting by Arsenal fans, and if at all you are following on Twitter, it's trending. Announce Rice and Timber. That's one of the biggest trends happening now on Twitter. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? This is the Arsenal News Show. Strictly we are talking Arsenal. Remember the first video we had on the day, it was the transfer news show. News is coming in slow, that's why we are not bringing in lots of updates to you, because it's not obviously coming in through as we expected to be. But I promise you that after this video, I'm going to bring you the match preview of Arsenal versus Nuremberg down in Germany, as we expect Kai Havertz to make his debut. We are talking the new striker that Arsenal is targeting is a 30-year-old player, and he comes in from Asia. And lastly, we are talking about the possible next signing of Arsenal, who might be a right attacking midfielder if at all Arsenal fulfill the following conditions revealed to us by this credible tier 1 journalist. Let's see close to 400 likes. Smash on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And let's jet on now. Demesh of Sky Sports has gone ahead and confirmed to us the following about Declan Rice's delay to be announced as an Arsenal player. West Ham United are ready to sign the contract to allow Declan Rice to officially become an Arsenal player, but they are waiting for Arsenal's lawyers to finalize the paperwork before signing it off. Now, if you are to blame who is delaying this deal, who is pending this deal, it's obviously the Arsenal lawyers. I don't know what is really lagging the paperwork, but looks like there is something detailed they are still working upon to see to it that they put it in and obviously see this deal coming to pass. Maybe they are really trying to buy some time to see to it that they announce Declan Rice on their way to the American tour, and I think that's why they are really doing this, because the moment West Ham gave Declan Rice green light to go ahead and obviously undergo a medical at Arsenal, it was all evident that they've gone ahead to agree on terms, and now the remaining business is simple. It's all about Arsenal coming in through and obviously getting themselves ready to announce the player. Very many Arsenal fans all over the world are really asking me on this channel and on Twitter that when is Rice going to be announced, and we anticipated that Julian Timber is going to be announced today, but I think we are still having like 4 or 5 hours left for him to be announced, as Sky Sports confirmed to us that today is the day Julian Timber is going to be announced as an Arsenal player. So let's wait and see how that pans out. But for Declan Rice, he completed and passed his medical. I had one of my favorite subscribers and regulars on this channel asking me whether Declan Rice has gone ahead to pass and accomplish and pass his medical. I really replied to him and told him that yes. The fact is, Declan Rice completed his medical on Saturday. The first 2 medical sessions were undertaken on Friday, as he started it late, as Julian Timber had found himself in a position of being the first one to be conducted a medical on at London Colney. Then Declan Rice came in through. He did the first 2 sessions of his medical at London Colney and then drove back home, and on Saturday morning he accomplished his 3rd set of the medical and everything is done. He was driven to Emirates on Saturday to find himself doing what we call the announcement videos, and everything is paid. The social media team has been handed all of the works, and they are just waiting the lawyers of Arsenal to give them a signal on when to obviously announce the Declan Rice deal. But it's obviously one of those deals that we are really waiting to see being announced, and we might see this deal get announced on the 18th, because Arsenal is going to unveil its first away kit, and they tend to obviously find themselves in a situation of really unveiling players on their kits. Remember, after unveiling the black kit, away kit, I think they were in Orlando, America. That's when they really announced Alexander Zinchenko donned into it. And you know the vibes that are always onto that of buying that jersey. You know, this other main jersey, the red one, is already getting money sales. But if at all you get in Declan Rice, you announce him on the 18th, and he's one of those players that you are really having at the set donned into that jersey, you know to it that people in London and the UK are really going to go ahead and obviously buy that jersey hugely. So I think that might be the work plan of Arsenal. It's not a bad work plan because the player is 100% theirs, and it's the lawyers keeping this deal pending. But very soon we'll really be given the best that they will be given the best of the announcement that you Arsenal fans really desire for, and we as United fans are so much used to this because United can sign a player and they take forever to really announce him. But I think for Arsenal it has not been the case. You know, for Kai Havertz, after everything was done and the medical was done in Spain, Arsenal announced him, I think, very soon. Julian Timber, medical done on Friday. He went back to bid his farewell to the fans of Ajax on Saturday, held what we call a home and friends farewell party in Ajax, and now he is back in London to see to it that he joins the Arsenal side. And I think his announcement is imminent. If you remember last summer, when they signed Gabriel Jesus, when he got done with his medical, he was announced the following day. Zinchenko, here we go was sounded like yesterday, like today night, and tomorrow evening, Zinchenko was announced as an Arsenal player and was seen seated into the booth where the executives sit in the stadium where Arsenal was playing against Everton, and Zinchenko was in attendance. So I really anticipate that there is something really legal that is really longing this deal from obviously being announced, but I really anticipate that it's really going to be announced very, very, very soon. So after that, let's get into this 30-year-old centre forward that Arsenal is interested in. Now, this story is coming in from a journalist known as Hatam Sirizadeh, and I think he comes in from Iran, and he works for the Tesinem News, and he says Arsenal have asked Porto whether Mehdi Taremi is available on the market. Several clubs are keen on signing the Iranian. Now, I first heard of this gentleman when he was linked to Man United. Now he's being linked to Arsenal, 30 years of age, but he's a gem. I can tell you, he's one of those strikers that has gone ahead to score very many goals, not only into the Premier La Liga, that's the League of Portugal, but also in the Champions League. When you look at his stats in the recently concluded season for FC Porto, he played 33 games in the league. He scored 22 goals and put up 7 assists. Very good player, and he's 30 years of age, and I think such an experience will be needed by Mikel Arteta. And I think this is the main reason as to why Mikel Arteta wanted him. In the recently concluded Champions League season of 2023 that saw Man City lift the Champions League after beating Inter Milan by 1-0, he has gone ahead to play 7 games, and guess how many goals he has gone ahead to score? 5 goals. And he has been playing the Champions League for the previous 2-3 seasons, and he has the vast experience that Arsenal will always need. Now, if he has gone ahead to score 5 in 7, that means that in every game he was worth a goal. Almost in every 1.5 games he was worth a goal. That shows you that Arsenal might be really eyeing at him to see to it that they bring in more Champions League experience at the club of Arsenal. But they are not the only ones searching or chasing for the signature of the player, but there are even others that are really coming in through to obviously get this deal over the line, like Manchester United. Taremi came in through and obviously got connected to Erik ten Hag, and Erik ten Hag is an admirer of the player, and maybe he wants to see him as a secondary striker. But where does this leave for Ren Balogun? Because Balogun is one of those players that is fighting to come into the starting 11 of Arsenal, but Arsenal is adding on more centre-forward interests amidst him. Does this mean that the story they told us that is really in talks with Chelsea are true? because looks like Chelsea want to sign Balogun, and Arsenal have gone ahead to ask for £50 million off the deal of Balogun from the London side to the north, through the East London side or Central London. So that is it all about Taremi, but he's 30 years of age, something that Mikel Arteta has gone ahead to really believe that it's needed in his team, because his defense lacks experience, that's it, because Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, Jakub Kivio, now Ben White, there is Julian Timber. All those are good, but experience is needed to see to it that you thrive through. And if at all you don't have it in the defense, that means you have to have it in all other remaining departments of the pitch. Like the central midfield, he has Jorginho, very much experienced. He's a perennial winner and he's leading by example. Then, on the forward line, I don't see much experience. There is not much experience, and that's why I think he's wanting to bring in this 30-year-old guy, because I've seen him play. He's flamboyant, you know. If at all you like a striker who will always come in through and obviously score wonder goals and obviously make you wait and obviously put you on tension before he really makes it count, this is the guy. And he can obviously release other players in a nick of time. That is a guy known as Beremi. 30 years of age, he's Iranian, and Arsenal are interested in him and they want to deliver him at home. That is it. So let's wait and see what comes from Arsenal, asking about the availability of this player, and obviously, if at all they are given a yes, what is Arsenal gonna do onto this one? And lastly, as we call it quits from this episode, it's all about a story coming in from Seth of Sky Sports that if sales are adequate, Arsenal recruiting a right-sided forward shouldn't be ruled out, as well as signing another midfielder if the opportunity arises. For signing another midfielder, that is obviously stamped and sealed, because even today they've been linked to Mamadou Onana, who plays for Everton. They've already been linked to Lavia, who looks like he's leaning towards going to Liverpool. They've also linked to Olio Chomini, another good centre forward that many Arsenal fans would love to see him play for their club at Arsenal. So it's obviously something great to see to it that Arsenal is really trying to get in these players. And I think that will be close to £100 million. And that means Arsenal should make sales worth £100 million. If those sales are not made, I don't see them going in for these signings as the club of Arsenal, because it's obviously one of those things that Arsenal needs to see to it that they come in and obviously compete with City. Because when you look at City, they're having Riyad Mahrez, they're having Bernardo Silva, they're having Phil Foden. They all can play in the same position, right? So Arsenal needs to be having Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, and maybe Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, and maybe another player, and a right-sided a right-sided forward that Arsenal might be linked onto. First and foremost, is none other than Moussa Diaby, but his value is really ridiculous concerning to how much Arsenal is going to need to spend, because he's valued at £60 million. That is it. That is very ridiculous about him, because he's not proven, and you cannot go in to spend that amount of money on a player like that. You rather go out and spend it on all your Chomini and add in some £20 million, deliver him to Arsenal if at all Thomas Partey leaves. So, for the right-sided centre forward, I think the option that Arsenal is leaning towards a lot, it's that guy, that is Moussa Diaby. And the only way they can go in for another one who plays for Bayern Munich is when he's put up for sale. That is Leroy Sane. He's admired by Mikel Arteta. Arteta is a big fan of the player, and he would love to see him at the club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I go by the names of Rokani. David, you can as well call me already. Tell me your thoughts about the reasons given for Declan Rice transfer delay, and what do you make about Beremi, the 30-year-old centre forward? Would you entertain him at Arsenal? And what do you make about the Arsenal possibility of signing a midfielder and a right-sided forward? And if at all you are to list, who would you want to be delivered at Arsenal as your new midfielder or a right-sided centre-back? Ciao, ciao. See you later. Bye-bye.